Hey y'all, this is Gail teaching here for Veterans Yoga Project, the gentle yoga for low back care. It's for those of us that have some back challenges. So I have chronic back pain, and there were some yoga postures I was doing that was causing me to be more in pain. So this has been a journey for me to learn, okay, what do I need to do to stop all this, right? So I took some extra training, studied and passed. I'm now a certified low back care yoga teacher. I have over here off the side, of course you can't see this, there's about 15 to 35 different yoga postures you can use in sequences to ease back challenges. So we're going to try some of those today. Always keep everything between the easy and ouch. So I'm going to talk here for just a little bit. We'll do the yoga stuff here at the back of the room. You need to do the chair. I'll be saying some chair versions also. And again, keep it between the easy and ouch. In Veterans Yoga Project, we do breathing, mindful movement, meditation, guided rest and relaxation, and the gratitude practice, all in this, little bit of time that we're here together. Again, if something doesn't feel right in your body, doesn't kind of like, I don't like it, don't do it, yeah? Also, if this gets kind of spicy, what I like to tell folks is if you're trying to stay in the yoga posture, then in that spicy place that you're at, return your attention back to the breath so that you'll go immediately and notice the breath going in through the nostril tips and out. Sometimes that can keep you in the posture. Sometimes it doesn't help at all, and you do need to back out and modify it a little bit. So with that being said, I'm going to stand up, move this chair out of the way, use the chair to come down to the floor. Again, I have spicy back challenges, so I have to use the chair to kind of help me safely, without pain, get down to the floor. So I'm noticing I'm trying to see if the camera is quite right. I'm going to move the camera up a little bit more sky, because when we do those standing postures, I want y'all to be able to see that. So I'm going to come over here to the chair. Again, I bend my knees, contract my belly button towards my spine, step one foot back, and I have a knee that kind of gives me challenges, so I don't come down to that knee. I just go ahead and kind of tip over. So today I'm trying out a yoga cloth instead of a yoga mat because I've been having problems on carpet with my yoga mat. And I thought, you know what, let me get my yoga, whatever this is called. Picked it up at a training one time, and I thought, well, I'm going to use that. I'm going to keep my blanket close by because when we do some of the seated postures, for me, I like to sit on the edge of the blanket to let my spine be a little bit more tall because I have scoliosis, so I have some challenges with that. I'm going to locate, as I scooch over here, I'm going to locate my yoga strap, my yoga block. If you don't have this set of gear, you can use a couch pillow, you can use a long towel until you pick up like the proper gear. And this class does use gear to help facilitate easing of the back challenges. So again, we're going to lie on our back. I like for y'all to have your knees bent. And always when I lie on my back, I feel certain things like pop. Again, it's because of my spine twisty business that's going on. And for me, this is uncomfortable. So I'm going to, for my upper back, I'm going to kind of pull my arm to kind of roll that shoulder upper back muscle away from the floor, away from my spine, and do the same for the other side. So again, you got to make stuff comfortable. If you need to tilt your pelvis like away or towards you to make this comfortable for the low back, kind of play around with that. It's a little pelvic tilt. If it's okay, just stay right there, yeah? We'll start with the breathing. So arms can be out to the side, palms up, palms facing you, palms down, whatever feels okay for the shoulders, the rotation of the elbows, upper arms, that kind of thing. But what I like to do is place my hands, one and the other, on my low belly and at my navel center, a little bit above it. I make sure my shoulders feel okay when I do that. And then I notice is my nose pointing straight up. So for a lot of folks, they have excessive cervical kind of curve going on here with the upper part of the head, and their nose may be pointed more towards the back behind them. So if that's happening for you, and this might feel kind of odd, you would take your hands back here along that bumpy part of the head, lift the head, and then try to tuck the chin more in towards the chest. So you're kind of being a little bit more up on the back of the head. Now this may feel especially weird if your body is like set in a position. I just invite you to try this, okay? With the hands on the belly, let's breathe in through the nose and let the low belly rise, upper belly, and then the chest. And then release, let everything just kind of sink and settle away. So it should kind of shrink a little bit. And again, low belly, upper belly, chest, kind of a three-part business here. Breathe in, and then exhale. I'm making a little noise in the back of the throat as I exhale. And again, breathe in, belly, low belly, upper belly, big. And exhale. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. Very good. We're just going to get right into our postures today. I'm looking at my list. We're going to be doing knee to chest. So we're going to squeeze the belly button towards the spine, activate the core, lift one leg off the yoga mat, and invite the knee in towards the chest. Now let that heel just kind of dangle towards the back of the leg. From here, either with your hands back behind the knee pit or the thigh, or the strap underneath, if you like to hold the leg in towards your body with the strap, that's always an option. Just giving you that option. We're going to point and flex the foot. So we're just trying to increase mobility, have better balance with kind of getting these major joints lubricated. It's kind of like what my mom's going to be 96. She goes, if you rest, you're going to rust. Mom, things that moms say, right? And she's a proponent of keep it moving. She does yoga and Tai Chi before she leaves the bedroom. She does all these things with her upper body, her lower body, just to kind of keep things moving. It's served her well. She's still living independently in her own home at the age of 95. Now, ankle circles, and just kind of notice if you feel stiff in the ankle, top of the foot, if there's noises happening in. Sometimes that happens if you've had some sprains, some broken things in the lower body. And then reverse. Notice if your reverse feels a little different than the original direction. And then release this foot down to the floor. Squeeze the belly button if you need to. Now, squeeze the belly button towards the spine as you lift the other knee in towards the chest. Again, let the foot dangle towards your behind. And then we're going to start that pointing and flexing on the other side. Every once in a while, just remember to breathe. Remember to breathe from the low belly. Let the belly expand. And then contract a little bit as you exhale or release. Now let's add a little circle to our movement here. Little ankle circle, or in my case, a lot of ankle noise. There it goes. It's snap, crackle, pops. I've got Rice Krispies for ankles today. More so on the right than on the left. And reverse. I've had surgery on this left foot and a sprain on the other one. So they have different issues, different challenges. Oof. This one feels especially kind of fatigued in doing the ankle circle. And release. Release that down. So we're going to do what's called the notice posture. I like to do this in this class so you notice if there's any progress, anything being different from the beginning to the end. Let's go ahead and extend one leg all the way down towards the edge of your yoga mat. Oof, my hip's kind of grabbing me, so I'm going to pat that hip a little bit. And then do the same with the other side. Now, I just always like to go especially slow on here. So what I'm trying to notice here, I've got a big space that's not touching the floor. I feel like my hips are like pointed towards my feet. So there's a lot of tightness happening here in the hip flexors. Some of my calf is touching. Now for some folks, this is very, very spicy. So if this is true for you, I would advise bending the knee and be on the back of the heels to where you can still kind of do this notice posture. Contract the belly button towards the spine, slide one foot back onto the yoga mat and then the other. This next one is going to be knee into chest, extend the leg out. So we're going to squeeze the belly button towards the spine. Again, start with that first side, whichever that was, knee in towards the chest. An option available to you is to thread the strap along the bottom of the foot. And that's good for some folks. Some folks, they can do this without the strap. So what we're going to do is inhale, belly big. And as we exhale, contract that belly button and extend that leg out into the air. So it's not at the foot pointing towards the ceiling or leg down on the ground. It's somewhere in between. And just notice as your leg is hanging out here in space, if there's any challenges in the hip flexors, the quadriceps, top of the legs, back of the legs, any spicy stuff happening with the hip bone in that kind of area. Then we're going to add movement to this. So let's inhale, knee in towards the chest. Contract that belly button. Exhale, leg out. Inhaling, knee into chest. Exhale, leg out. Again, inhale, knee into chest. Exhaling, leg out. So you may be noticing some little snap, crackle, pops in the knees and the hips. And that, again, may not be true to you. Just keep breathing. Keep the movement flowing. If you forget the breath, it's okay. Just keep breathing. It really doesn't matter where you're doing the breath. Although sometimes when you extend the leg out, exhaling is better because you're grabbing the core, being strong when you do this. You may notice the legs starting to go a little bit lower towards the floor. Let's see if I can get my... see how many calories we burned with this class today. And let's do 2 more, shall we? 2 more. Whew. And invite the knee in towards the chest. Give it a nice little squeeze. Notice where this leg is hitting your hip crease, maybe your side waist, maybe your side ribs, maybe none of that, okay? Just kind of notice where the position is and then release the leg down to the floor. Let's do the same thing for the other side. So you're going to squeeze that belly button, lift the leg up and off, and invite the knee in towards your chest. And I always kind of do a little adjustment here because it feels weird for the back of my hip. So again, that's just me. I just have some stuff going on that it makes it feel a little bit easier in the body. So once again, we're going to inhale, stay here, belly big. And as we exhale, extend that leg out, hang out there just for a second. You're comparing side 2 with the first side. So notice, does it feel easier to be hanging out here in space? Is there more challenge? Is there more sensation? Is there a different sensation? So all these little things running through your brain. All right, so now we're going to add the movement to it. So let's inhale, knee in towards the chest. Belly big when you inhale. Exhale, belly button towards the spine. Extend that leg. Now I do a little flex of the foot a little bit here too. Inhale, knee into chest. And exhale. So just observe what's going on with this side. Is it the knee making more noise? Is the hip popping more? Is it the same? Is there, you don't really notice? And that's also an option. Sometimes it takes a couple of times going to a yoga class to kind of be aware of what your different places of the body are doing, as in noise, comfort, sensations, those type of things. Hopefully not a burning sensation. Woo! We don't want to go to the ouch. Boys, back off the ouch. And so I'm kind of feeling that this hip over here really getting kind of warm, kind of lots of sensation happening here. And then again, knee in towards the chest. And then we're just kind of hanging out the knee into chest. And again, you're comparing second side to the first side. So for me, this side is more into, yes, the hip crease and the side waist and almost touching my low ribs. So there's a little bit more range of motion going on. And, it's clues to figure out, maybe I've done something or an old injury or, that type of thing. right to kind of figure out why is this side different than the other. And sometimes it's a mystery. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, when I did this, blah, 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 blah. That might be why this side feels different than the other. And release. All right, we're going to do next is called windshield wipers. It's just kind of like, back and forth with the knees, but with intention. Now I'm going to make sure my block is close by because this first side usually is pretty spicy for me if I don't have that block for underneath. So the first side, we're going to keep the feet on the ground. We're going to invite the knee to open up out to the side. So again, for me, it doesn't feel comfortable hanging out here in space. So I'm just going to take I think it's the smallest height, and just slide it underneath so I can just kind of, you know what, I'm going to do the second one because that didn't feel good. And then we're on the side of the foot, so we're stimulating the muscle on the side of the foot. It's a little bonus in our windshield wiper. Let's take the top leg and drop it towards the bottom leg. And so we have a low lumbar twist happening here, and you might be feeling some spice in that back booty. It might be happening. So again, redirect your attention to your breath. Let's breathe in and listen to the air going in through the nostrils. Chest expanding also, and then listen to the air going out. Very good. Sometimes, again, that allows you to stay in a place of spice. And then we're going to contract the belly button towards the spine. Bring the top leg. Use your hand if you need to bring that top leg back. You need to use the hand to guide the bottom leg. I grab my pant usually and bring it back to the center. And you're back into constructive rest pose. So this constructive rest pose, and I mention this right now, knees bent, feet on the floor, you're lying on your back. So this is another yoga posture for releasing deeply held back tension. You can also take the legs and slide them on the seat of the couch or the chair for further releasing of those hip flexors and all the things that are kind of mechanically involved with spice in the back. Do this in the bed, just be in constructive rest posture. It's a good thing to kind of do first thing before you get out of bed. We're going to do windshield wipers on the other side. So I don't need the block on the other side. I just kind of know that from, past working with this. So again, I'm going to take the second side, go on the side of the foot, open up that knee towards the floor, and then I'm going to take that top leg, drop it towards the bottom leg. And again, you may be noticing this pulling sensation happening from your hip bone up the side of the body, up into the ribs. You may not be feeling that also. So for me, I do feel it in my high hip area, places where you get shots sometimes. Oh, goodness. Bring that top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. And we're going to do that windshield wipers again, a little bit faster this time because I'm not talking so much. So take that first side. I'm going to open it out. So just the second time around, the leg is already opening up, feeling better, more range of motion. I'm going to take that top leg, drop it towards the bottom leg. You may be noticing the leg does go towards the bottom one, like stacked, but typically I just don't let the top leg touch because then I get this good pulling sensation happening with the top hip, and I get that nice, easy low back twist. Easy for some, not for others, okay? Squeeze the belly button. Let's take the top leg to the center, bottom leg to the center. Very good. Let's do the second side. We're going to drop the second side out. That feels okay. And take that top leg towards the bottom leg. And you may already notice things of more range of motion, maybe more comfort in a posture, maybe less if you're doing more range of motion. So, one thing and half of the other. Squeeze that belly button, bring that top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. And just with these few yoga postures, let's do the notice posture. So extend one leg all the way down, shake it out. I kind of like to shake it a little bit. And then do the second side. And notice if you're a little bit more melted into the floor, a little bit more, I don't know, less tense, so the muscles kind of spread out a little bit. Not that they actually do, but it just feels more melty. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a word that would describe this, but to me, I'm just kind of more connected to the surface beneath me, and it feels okay. It feels okay. Squeeze that belly button towards the spine. Slide one foot back, then the other. And then I'm going to come up to the camera and explain the next yoga posture. But if you just want to look to the side at the screen or listen to my words, you can stay in constructive rest pose. And again, I'm going to use the chair to come up. Sometimes when you come up off the ground, too, you can feel a little dizzy, so just kind of know this. You go from horizontal to vertical. So what we're going to be doing next is called golfer's grip, and we do this in postural alignment. So what we're going to do is take the hand and fold the fingers into the pad of the hand. That may be here at the very top of the palm, or it may be kind of in the middle. So this hand I can typically get at the very top pad, but the other one, my fingers do not go down. So I just kind of hope that they will eventually get there. And then what we're going to do is make sure the wrist isn't cocked, that it's top of the hand aligned with the forearms. So we're strengthening musculature in the forearms when we do this. So we'll be doing this golfer's grip, thumb out or thumb in, with our lying on our back in constructive rest pose. Grab your yoga block while I come back down to the floor. Grab your yoga block. Think about that golfer's grip. I'm going to move my yoga blanket away from the wall a little bit. It's wider than my yoga mat, so I just wasn't really sure how that was going to work. So what we're going to do with this golfer's grip, we're essentially, if you're here watching the video doing that chair version, you're sitting in the chair with your hands parallel to the floor and squeezing the shoulders in towards one another and releasing. Now, those of us that are lying on our backs, we're going to be doing the same thing, but in a different perspective. Grab your yoga block, whether you're seated on the chair or lying on your back in that constructive rest pose. So let me get into that constructive rest pose. We're going to take that yoga block and put it in between the knees and squeeze with, about 40% effort or 50% effort. So you're not like super squeezing, but you're squeezing. And then again, kind of make sure your chin is tucked into your chest. If you need to, I got to lift up a little bit because that felt weird from my backside. Now I'm kind of heel-toeing my feet in. Now this golfer's grip, we're going to take that hand, fold it into the pad as best you can, into your pad. Again, my right hand doesn't cooperate as well as my left. So, and then we're going to take the thumbs, turn them towards the center. Now I'm going to kind of wiggle my shoulders, get everything nice and relaxed there in the upper back, and bend the elbows, place the back of the arms onto the floor. So if someone were to look down on you, you look like a half of a letter T. So the full T would be arms straight on the ground, but we're doing bent at the elbows. So what we'll do here is, again, walk the feet towards one another to where you get a good inner thigh squeeze going on here. We're strengthening the hip musculature with this movement, okay? And then I'm looking to see that my wrists are pretty in alignment with the forearms. Yep, it's about as best as they can. And again, I've got a little arthritis in that one hand, so it doesn't work the first couple of times around. What we're going to do is look at the ceiling, and then we're going to push our shoulders towards one another into the floor and release. Keep squeezing the block constantly, okay? Let's do that again. Squeeze the shoulders, squeeze them into the floor and release. Squeeze those shoulders towards one another, push them into the floor and release. Let's do that 2 more times. Squeeze everything, woo, and release. And last time. Squeeze into the floor and release. Now we're going to take the hands in front of the chest, clap the hands. Ooh, nice clap. And then rub the hands to kind of get some little circulation going on here, especially with that kind of vigorous bending of the fingers at the knuckles and different little joints there, yeah? And then we're going to interlace the fingers and squeeze the palms together. We've got the thumbs kind of being free. Now for me, what happens typically is the shoulder is off the ground, so I always remind myself, okay, shoulder to the floor. And then I look at my elbow pits, the inside of my elbows. Are they pointed in the same direction? So I like to have the inside of the elbows pointed towards one another. Now my right arm likes to flare out. It's just, that's how it is, yeah? So it takes me a little effort to make everything the same. Squeezy palms, belly button towards the spine. Now here comes the hard work. Bringing the arms overhead slowly.
And you're going to go to a natural stopping point, again, wherever one arm, one shoulder says stop. And for me, it's here on the very top sides of my glasses. Now I'm going to wiggle my thumbs, feel my core here being engaged, and then squeeze that belly button towards the spine. Slowly, slowly bring the arms back in front of your chest. Now, unlace the fingers, clap the hands once again, rub the hands, because we're going to go back to that golfer's grip, squeezing the shoulders into the floor sequence. So do your golfer's grip, turn your thumbs towards you, towards your center, and then bend the elbows, back of the arms onto the floor. Now, re-squeeze the block, because you know I lose it. I figure y'all lose it too. We're going to squeeze the shoulders into the floor, woo, and release. 4 more. This is 4. Woo. 3. Just breathe however you need to here. 2. Let's give it a good squeeze. Last one. All right. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then bring the hands in front of your chest. Clap the hands. Yay. Rub the hands. Oh, my room's a little cold, so this feels good for my hands, by the way. And then interlace the hands, squeeze the palms, shoulders down, elbows, look at the elbows, make sure they're somewhat the same, okay? And then squeeze that belly button as you slowly, super straight arms, as best straight arms as you can, bring the arms overhead. And just kind of note, did they go a little bit more than the first round? So mine are on the sides of my glasses now. I'm going to wiggle my thumbs. So I have one shoulder that's a little restricted versus the other. You may notice that too. Some little creakiness when you were doing this. And then belly button towards your spine. Slowly, woo, slowly bring the hands back in front of your chest. And then unlace the fingers, clap the hands. Oh, I'm going to clap them again. Very good. Well, I don't know. And rub the hands. I like to have loud claps. I don't know. There's just something in me that my husband says I clap too loud. So when I do an inferior clap, it's just like bugs me. Okay. Weird things you know about your yoga teacher. Let's do the golfer's grip again. Fingers into the pads. Ooh, my right hand is almost down. So there's a little progression going on there. Thumbs towards you. Bend the elbows, back of the arms. Again, wiggle the shoulders if you need to. Squeeze, walk the feet more. Squeeze that block. I always lose the block, okay? Here we go. 5 reps. Squeeze the shoulders into the floor and release. Squeeze and release. Whew. Squeeze and release. I always feel this in my abs when I do this. 2 more. Squeeze and release. Last one. Give it a big old squeeze. Press, press, press. All right, hands in front of your chest. Clap your hands. Yay. Rub the hands. Well, this is my favorite part, I think. Interlace the fingers. Squeeze the palms. Shoulders down. Look at the elbows. Make them the same. All right, super straight arms. Slowly with intention, which means slow. Overhead. Keep breathing. So wiggle your thumbs. So I was able to have the tips of my thumbs come to where they're wiggling, touching the floor. You may have had that happen to you too, or not. Again, don't beat yourself up if you can't come down to the floor, but just note your progress in this overhead extension, letter T, squeeze the shoulders. Now, hard part right here. Squeeze that belly button, bring the arms slowly back in front of your chest. Last time, unlace the fingers and clap the hands. Last time to rub those hands nice and good. Beautiful. And then release the block. Yay. Keep the block close by. You may need it in just a second. Next, what we're going to do, now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see this a little bit better, but it's going to be piriformis bounce. You got that sciatica. This is great for that. And pigeon, reclined pigeon, laying on your back pigeon. You may have done this in other yoga classes where you're on your hips, but I like this version because it really gets into the stuff. I'm looking to see if I can see myself in the camera. Yeah, I can. Okay. We're going to start with that first side leg, whichever one it was, or your left or your right, right? Bring your leg up into the air and then turn your heel to the center and just drop that foot on top of the other leg. Now, this leg that's on top, we're going to either take the hand or the strap. I'm going to keep it close by. And we're going to Now, if your hand does not easily reach the leg to bounce it away, then you can also take your yoga block, grab the yoga block and use the yoga block to kind of bounce that leg away. So this is, I'm going to move my top foot. It was knob on my leg. This is the piriformis bounce. This is to warm up the muscle before we really, really work it out. And we're going to do that. Again, we're getting into the hip musculature with these movements, strengthening, because oftentimes we'll have one side that's just a little tad off than the other, and that can cause imbalances one side versus the other. Now, if this is not your thing, you don't like that bouncy thing, keep bouncing. If you do like this, you can thread the strap underneath the knee pit and pull it towards you and let it drop away. So if you're seated, that's probably the better one to do if you're doing this seated in the chair. So this is that option. So again, it's a little bit more back of the pelvis movement. So you kind of have to, you know, there's a little bit different things going on, but it's still getting into that piriformis muscle. Piriformis. All right, and just stop the bouncing. And then what we're going to do with the bottom foot, we're going to tap the bottom foot, tap, 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 and then press that bottom foot firmly into the floor so the top of the leg of the bottom foot, the quadricep, should be activated. Maybe the booty, maybe the calf, definitely the bottom of the foot. Now with the top leg, let's take the top toes, point them towards your knees so you activate that calf, everything nice and aligned. Then we're going to squeeze, top bun, squeeze, and then push top leg away with your own strength, or again, grab that yoga block and push it away a little bit. Now don't forget, press into the bottom leg. So this is our reclined pigeon with the bottom foot connected to the floor. Don't forget to breathe. You may notice one hip feels a little different than the other, you know, due to the different position of what's going on here.
I'm not sure I understand.
My phone is talking to me. I don't know why. I've yet to master this Apple Watch. I use it for doing my heart rate and for AFib and for calculating heart arrhythmias. So it's very beneficial for that. But then it talks back to me. Well, you know, at least I'm not just talking to myself. And release and relax everything. If you want to, just do a little bounce here, see if it feels a little bit more free, a little bit more open. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And then take that leg up and off. And let's do the other side. So bring the other leg up into the air, turn the heel to the center, and then we're going to do the same stuff. Now, what happened to me before is I had my ankle on top of my thigh, and that didn't feel good. So I'm going to shift that ankle away, okay? So I made the mistake of that ankle knobbing me. All right, we're going to bounce this other one. Again, use your hand, use your block. Sometimes when I use the block, I'm a little bit too vigorous. So just kind of note that you know, you can be a little bit too much for your piriformis bounce. A little forceful. And you're noticing maybe, does this side feel a little bit more stiff, less bouncy than the other? Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you didn't notice. All right, so we're going to be still just for a moment. We're going to take that bottom foot. We're going to tap it. And then press the bottom foot firm into the floor. Just kind of notice that traction feeling happening with your booty and your foot, contraction of the quadricep. Take that top foot, toes towards your knee, activate that calf, and then squeeze top bun, squeeze. Don't forget to continue to press into the bottom foot. Always forget. And then you can either take your hand, if you can reach, and push that top leg away for more stuff happening in that hip, or I like the block here. Gently push that top leg away as you continue to think about pressing into the bottom foot. Now you may be noticing some traction feelings happening from where your behind is touching the yoga mat and your bottoms of your shoulder blades or the shoulders. So you may be noticing that kind of lengthening thing happening, and you may not. Don't forget to breathe. Always forget to breathe. I guess I don't because I'm talking, right? And then just relax everything. Yay. And then let's go back to bouncing that top leg. and just see, does it feel a little bit more free? Is there a little bit more range of motion? Or is there less? There could be that going on too. And then let's take that top leg up and off. And let's go back to windshield wiper. Since I'm here in this vertical position, we're going to drop first leg down to the floor. We're on that side of the foot. And then take that top leg, drop it towards the bottom leg. And just notice, is there more ease in the top hip twisty sensation? Do you feel more pulling happening? Maybe because you have more range of motion. Just notice if it feels different. Notice what you notice or don't notice, yeah? Squeeze the belly button. Bring the top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center. And let's do the second side. I'm going to go back to my original position. Open up that leg to the side. Take the top leg towards the bottom leg. And again, you may have more range of movement happening here, which might mean more sensation or maybe not. Again, it's, highly variable, all right? But again, we're just trying to release stuff held in the back. Squeeze that belly button, bring that top leg back to the center, bottom leg back to the center, and let's do the notice posture. It's a good time to do that. Extend one leg all the way down. Kind of shake it out if you need to. And then the bottom leg. And just notice if you feel more connected to the floor, if it feels okay in the body. Or notice what you don't notice. Yeah, all that good stuff. Squeeze that belly button, slide a foot back onto the floor, then the other. Grab your yoga block. So we're going to do what's called block bridge pose with some lymphatic drainage. So I love doing this. It really, again, gets into making the back feel a little bit different than how it normally feels. So what we're going to do is walk the feet towards the behind. It's kind of like if you've done yoga before, it's similar to bridge pose, but not. This might be challenging for some folks. You may have to kind of actually lift your behind up if you're not used to doing bridge, and then slide that yoga block underneath the low behind. And so you got to find a sweet spot here. And usually that my shoulders feel like too close to my behind. So I kind of walk my shoulders away and tuck the chin into the chest. This is very uncomfortable for you. You can go back into constructive rest posture. So to add the lymphatic drainage to this means bringing one leg up into the air. Squeeze that belly button. Bring that leg up into the air. And we're going to shake that leg. So we're using gravity to our advantage here. We got all these lymph nodes all over the body, and this is a nice way to kind of get stuff out of those lymph nodes, and then shake side to side. I always think side to side feels weird because my thigh just like moves more. I don't know. I feel my back moving a little bit too, and then up and down, and then release this leg down to the floor. You may feel some tingling going on. Yeah, very good. Bring the other one up. And then start its little thing. And notice which one's easier to shake versus the other. And side to side. Again, this is strange to me. And then I'm going to keep this leg up in the air. I'm going to grab the sides of my yoga block, squeeze my belly button, lift the other leg up if I can, and shake them both. This is also good if you have prolapse of your pelvic organs because you're working gravity in a relaxed mode. So you're not having to hold stuff. It's allowing things to relax a little bit. Shake side to side. Shake them if you can to where your toes kind of wiggle too. If that makes any sense, yeah? Plus we're staying in the posture a little bit and just kind of sneaky way to stay in the posture. Shake, shake, shake. All right, one leg down. Again, you may notice some tingling. Other leg down. Then you're going to press into the floor, lift up just a little bit, slide the block out, roll your spine down. Notice how this feels. It might feel what I like to call yummy. Extend one leg all the way down. Then the other. And again, notice how this feels in your body, if it feels different, okay? Next, we're going to be doing the rest of our spinal movements. So we're going to squeeze the belly button towards the spine, slide a foot onto the yoga mat, then the other. Then I always like to lift up and then turn because I have also SI joint dysfunction. If you roll over on the side in the bed, you have this sharp pain in your pelvic area, you might have that too. And then when we come up off the floor from being horizontal, there may be this dizziness. So just be aware of that. Hand in front of you, extend that top leg, push into the floor, maybe come up onto the elbow. And again, you can pause here just for a moment. I'll bring my block close by. You never know, we might need it. And then I'm going to continue up to seated. Now I mentioned before that I like to use a yoga blanket to sit on. Again, because of my scoliosis and my disc degeneration and all that stuff, it's just more comfortable for me. So I fold it up into like a third, and what I do is basically I sit on the edge of it, and that allows me to tilt my pelvis forward and have my ears over my shoulders, shoulders over my hips for the most part. If you're not able to sit easily in what I call crisscross yoga sauce, you can have the leg out if you need to, or maybe a block underneath. Excuse me. And if you're having a little equilibrium kind of going on here, drop the chin towards the chest, hands in your lap. Just stay here for a breath or two. And then bring the head back to heart center. So that should make you feel okay. Yeah. I don't think we're we're not going to get to any standing postures today. We'll do that next week, okay? I promise. So we're going to do the 6 essential spinal movements. One of them is cat-cow. One of them is side lateral flexion. We've already done the twist, but I like to do the twist if we can. Let's do cat-cow seated on our bun. Why not? Hands on the, whatever this is called, knees, the shin knee area, sitting up nice and tall. And we're going to let the belly relax. As we breathe in, belly gets big. Now for seated cat-cow, we're going to exhale, bend the elbows, hinge forward. Now I don't take the eyes to look forward or chin towards my chest. I always try to keep my ears in alignment with the tops of my shoulders. So I'm going to show this sideways. So I'm hinged forward a little bit. So I'm not doing this business. Again, just kind of letting the head just be an extension of the spine. Now the belly's soft. Breathe in. As I exhale, belly button towards the spine, come back to tall, seated mountain posture. Very good. Again, the blanket allows my pelvis, instead of to kind of curve towards the floor like I naturally would, like I'm on the phone or on the computer, it allows me to tilt my pelvis forward and have more of a easily tall spine seated on my buns. Let's do the cat version. So again, belly soft. Breathe in, belly big. And this time, exhale, contract the belly button, and then curve the spine to the back of the room. And use my hands to kind of keep me from doing a backward somersault here. So I got me a nice little curve going on. Again, I try to keep the ears over the shoulders. Breathe in, belly big. Exhale, back to tall, seated posture. So what you might notice is a little pelvic tilt is happening with this pose. Breathe in. Elbows out, hinge forward. It's more like a forward fold, but it is the cow version. Inhaling, stay here. Exhale, back to tall, seated mountain. Let the belly be soft. Breathe in. Exhale, curve that spine, contract the belly button, go to the back of your yoga mat, hang on to your knees. Inhale, belly soft. Exhale, contract that belly button, sit up nice and tall. All right, so that was our seated cat-cow. Next one, I'm going to face y'all on this one, is our side lateral flexion. I'm going to kind of move that one foot just kind of in the middle and the other one a little bit more, my knees more spread out. It feels a little bit more comfortable. And again, if you need to have a yoga block or a pillow underneath the knee, because it just feels weird, sometimes just that little bit of height support helps. That's where you need 2 yoga blocks, yeah? So let's start. Breathe in, circle sweep arms up, and keep one arm up. You're either going to be on a wrist or a fist, and we're going to bring it back behind us, so feel a little shoulder squeeze here. And then inhale, reach. Exhale, belly button towards the spine. Bring the side body over towards the hand back behind you, just over to the side, basically. Feel that little QL, quadris lumboris, the lengthening stretch here. Inhale, back on up. Exhale, float it down. Let's do that again. Both arms. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up.
Now keep the other arm up, decide fist or wrist. I'm going to do a wrist this time. Squeeze my back shoulder, and then inhale, really reach, 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 reach. Bent elbow is perfectly fine, folks. Exhale, belly button towards the spine. Both buns on the floor as best you can. That's hard to say. Inhale back on up. I laugh at my own jokes. Sorry about that. Exhale, float them down. And I know they're not funny. Let's do that one more time each side. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Keep inhaling and reach back behind you. And exhale, lean over. Inhale back on up. Exhale, float down. Both arms. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up. Inhale, 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 reach. Exhale, lean that side body over. Inhale back on up. Exhale, float it down. Beautiful. All right. If you want to switch the legs, this is your time to do that. It always feels weird when I switch. Oh, not today. Okay. I take that back. We're going to do what's called an unsupported twist. So a lot of times when you're in a yoga class, and this is sometimes where people get hurt, they'll take an opposite hand. I'm just demonstrating. Don't do this. And they'll like hug it, clasp it on that outside that leg, and then they'll take their upper body arm muscular strength to crank themselves into a twist. So that's not your spine doing it, that's your strength doing it. I like to do twists with whatever mobility you have in your spine, especially for back yoga, okay? So with that, we're going to be bringing arms out to the side and squeezing the arms into the ribs, so you feel that shoulder squeeze again, engaging the shoulders, and then keep the shoulders engaged and bring the arms out a little bit, maybe up a little bit. Now, breathe in, belly big. As you're breathing in, look to see which leg is in front. You're going to turn towards the leg that's in front. Exhale, twist towards that leg that's in front. And if that didn't happen, that's okay too. Inhale, stay here with the chin be aligned with the chest. Exhale, come back to heart center. Re-squeeze the shoulders. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, twist. Did this one twist more than the other? Inhale, stay here. Exhale, back to heart center. Let's do one more each side. Breathe in, belly big, 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 big belly. Exhale, twist over to the other side. Squeeze those shoulders. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, back to heart center. Relax those shoulders a little bit. Re-squeeze. Inhale, stay here. Exhale over to the other side. Ooh, I twisted more on this side. Inhaling, stay here. Last one. Exhale, back to heart center. All right, squeeze the shoulders up towards your ears. Lots of tension in those shoulders. Exhale, relax the shoulders down. Oof, let it soften. Let's do that again. Inhale, squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. And release. Beautiful. All right, we've done the cat-cow, flexion and extension of the spine. We did that side lateral movement. We did unsupported twists. We've done a lot of stuff on our backs for back yoga. You know what? Let's get to our guided rest and relaxation, because we need a little time for that to kind of feel the benefits of the movements of our yoga posture. So if it's cold in your room, you might grab a blanket or cover up with a, if you have a little jacket, or cover up your feet at least, right? And again, we're going to do constructive rest pose, notice pose, and then get into the guided stuff. But before you get down, if you need to, if you have a blanket or a towel, you can, do like a long little sausage roll. And I like this to be underneath the knees if I'm laying flat on my back, just to give my hips a little break, or what some folks like to do. And this is a favorite. There's a pose called legs up the wall. Well, we do instead legs on the chair. And I turn my chair sideways and I bring my booty next to the chair, basically come onto my back and cartwheel my legs onto the seat of the chair, and I kind of scooch back a little bit. This is even more beneficial than the stuff underneath the bend of the knees. So this is an option that you can try in just 2 more poses, okay? So I just wanted to show that briefly. Let's get onto our backs, constructive rest pose once again. So onto our backs, back where we started. You got 5-10 minutes, this is the place to be. And just kind of notice,
if there's any, differences. You may not notice it here in this posture. So let's do notice pose. So extend one leg all the way down, shake it out. Maybe pat your hip if it's super grabby. So my left one's usually always super grabby. And then extend the other. And then, go back to the place that you began. Maybe shake the legs, shoulders up and down. Either hands resting on your belly with your shoulders comfortable, or arms out to the side or close into the body. And close the eyes. So at this point, we're going to be doing the guided rest and relaxation part of the class. I'm going to come up to the camera to do that part of the class for you. So I invite you to just get comfortable. That might mean several different things. Maybe you need to wiggle a little bit more. Maybe you need to cover up a bit. Again, I teach a yoga nidra class on Sunday nights. That's usually like another mechanism you use for releasing deeply held chronic pain. I'm going to get my little yoga script out here. So as you get ready, just kind of melt into the yoga mat. If you need to kind of wiggle a little bit, or maybe one side feels a little tight, maybe shake out that side. And if you shake out one side, you got to shake out the other, yeah? Let's just take a breath together. Breathe in and out through the mouth. It's called the sigh breath. Let's do that again. Breathe in and out through the mouth. Let go of everything that doesn't serve you anymore. Okay, one more time with that breath. Breathe in. Beautiful. Let's just take a few moments just to be. Let's bring into your mind a theme for today's practice. Maybe it's something like I am calm, I am peace, I am pain-free. Maybe you already have one. Something that resonates with you, something you wish were already true. And we're stating it plainly and clearly, concisely in that positive present moment language. So for me, it's I have a healthy heartbeat because I have AFib, or I am pain-free because I want to be out of pain. So we're going to repeat that 3 times silently to ourselves. Now I'll do a little soft clapping for 10 seconds. So again, say that theme to yourself, that intention, 3 times silently, mentally to yourself. Here we go. Beautiful. Just allow yourself to take a nice deep breath, and we'll start bringing awareness into our body. So let's let the awareness travel to the top of the head, the face, the shoulders, the torso. Let all those places in your body just melt into the yoga mat. Allow the earth to hold you up. Continue with the arms, the hips, the legs, those ankles, those feet. Again, all those places that I've named, let everything just sink and settle as if you're making an impression into the earth. Allow the earth to hold you up. Just melt. While you're here, once again, notice your shoulders, your neck, the back of the head. Notice the back of the arms, the back of the legs, the hips, the shoulders, the calves, the feet. And then let's bring a little bit of awareness to the breath. Just notice that you're breathing. Don't change it in any way. Just notice, how does it feel to breathe in? And how does it feel to breathe out? Notice the places in your body that are moving as you inhale and as you exhale. Good. Big breath in, big breath out.
Let's work with just a few sensations. Let's just notice that our body feels very heavy as a rock. As if you could make an impression into the floor. The arms are heavy, the legs are heavy, the torso is heavy, the head is heavy. Heavy, dense, heavy. Now, let's sense our body being as light as a feather. The arms are light, the legs are light, the torso is light, the head is light. The body weightless, effortless, light, as if you were floating up towards the sky. And once again, notice the places where your body is in contact with the surface beneath you. The arms, the legs, the back of the head. Notice the front side of the body where you feel the air coming across your skin. Maybe the warmth of the blanket or your clothes. Good. Just notice your breath may be a little bit more shallow, more softly, more freely. And then I invite you to come back into the now, back into the present moment. We'll repeat that theme that we set for ourselves. Again, maybe it was I am calm, I am peaceful, I am pain-free, or whatever you have maybe already previously selected. And let's repeat it silently, mentally to ourselves 10 times. I'm going to do that soft clap of 10 seconds. Again, 3 times. Here we go. Beautiful. Then allow yourself a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, start wiggling those toes, those fingers. If your feet are on the yoga mat, maybe bring the knees into the chest and do a little side-to-side movement. That's often very yummy for the back. Maybe circle the knees and then the other direction. And then go ahead and place the feet onto the yoga mat. Let's roll over onto our side body. And we'll do a very similar thing where we place the hand in front of us and the top leg. We're going to press into the floor, come up onto that elbow, and then take a little bit more time. Use your upper body strength to come to upright. So I invite you, either hands stacked or hands together at your heart center. And I invite you to drop your chin towards your chest for our gratitude practice. The chin towards your chest is just in gratitude for just you showing up today. Thank you. All right, let's think of someone, something, maybe a pet, person, or a place that you have an idea of gratitude around, and bring that, whatever that is, into your heart space. Good. Now you can keep your chin towards your chest or bring it to look forward, eyes opened or closed as we end our class today. So the light in me honors and respects the light in you. So let's take that peace, that strength, the understanding, and that little attitude of gratitude, and let's pass it on. Namaste, which means the light in me honors and respects the light in you. This concludes our practice of gentle yoga for low back care.